Hello, today's video is called So Many Patents Part 2. Today is October 12, 2021. In this video, I will show you patents that prove the existence of technology used to manipulate weather. On Part 1, we talked about patents that were used to manipulate us. The agenda for today is Summary Part 1, Patent List, Patent Details, and Closing Comments. In the first part, we saw that patents are commercialization permits granted by the governments for a specific period of time, and they require human intervention in order to be able to be registered. We also reviewed the process that I used to find different patents. So I used Google patent, then I introduce different numbers just to look into options, and then the options are going to show me the details of the patent as well as something called the abstract, that is the summary of what the patent entails. In the first video, we also reviewed almost 70 patents, and we established that at least for over 50 years, humans have been receiving external influences over emotions, brainwaves, dreams, and feelings in a clear intent to manipulate us and artificially generate different types of reactions. In today's video, we're going to look at weather manipulation, and the patent list is shorter than last time. I just looked into 26 patents. They are all expired, but you can see that they started in 1920. So we're going to look at the different trends. Don't worry too much about the different details because I'm going to do an in-depth analysis to some of these. So you're going to see here manipulation of different parts of the atmosphere, iCloud seeding. You're going to see here weather control. So everything is going to be the same thing. So we're going to look into details of these specific patents. So from 1964, this is an extract that talks about the seeding of clouds is the cause of formation of ice crystals in the clouds. And here is interesting because in 1964, they're already saying that is something that has been done for a number of years with the purpose of controlling or modifying weather conditions. So nothing new. 1966 is the invention that they're talking about in this specific patent to provide a composition to influence the weather. 1969, method for causing precipitation, and it's exactly the same. 1970, producing an artificial ion cloud in the ozone layer, which cloud has a sufficient ion density to exhibit high reflectivity of electromagnetic waves for a relatively long lifetime. So a couple of things. Number one, everybody knows that the electromagnetic waves are harmful, but let's look into a little bit of details. Of course they are. We already know that. But what is interesting is that in the 70s, there was a lot of talk about how we, bad humans, were affecting the Earth's ozone layer, when in reality, you can see from this patent that there was something else going on. It's not us bad humans, it's somebody else doing all these things with the atmosphere. So, and this one from 1971, it was not only from the atmosphere, but here, this is very interesting wording. I'm going to do a little bit of a reflective questioning about this. It says, method for generalized irradiation of relatively large surface areas of a planet, such as the Earth, the Moon, for illumination, heating, weather control, etc., and reflect from the sun to a desired area on the planet's surface. So many questions arise. The first one is, we know Moon is not a planet, so why are we saying that? Further, why are we talking about heating and controlling the weather of the Moon? Is something going on over there? Or could it be a typo? So let's look into which corporation registered this patent. I don't know if you've ever done a patent. I once did one with a company that I was working in Toronto. Extremely lengthy process, very expensive, tons of lawyers, lots of work. So it's not something that goes only once through one desk. A lot of people, including the president, was reviewing constantly this. So this is not a typo, I can tell you that much. And then this same corporation that registered that was bought in 1999 by Viacom, that is one of the big 6 media companies that own all the communications and all the media that we hear every single day. So I can assure you, this company didn't buy this company if this company is doing this type of typo. So very odd. How do they make these artificial rains? So here I have one of the quote recipes, to call them somehow, from 1971. So what I did is I grabbed every single one of the different ingredients, and then I did the infamous search on Google: is this specific ingredient harmful for humans? And of course, every single one you can see here: urea, irritating the skin, eyes; potassium nitrate, affect when we breathe; here can even collapse and even death; potassium nitrite, irritate the nose, affect the ability of the blood to carry oxygen; ammonium nitrate can cause irritation, symptoms may include coughing and sore throat. Another rain recipe from 1977 talks about, again, I grabbed all the different components and then I did a search. Is this harmful? This one can cause serious health problems. This is unsafe. This is dangerous. Even 1 gram can cause a serious hazard. And this one, this is very interesting. It has no known role in living organisms, and when encountered to them is usually highly toxic. So if this is the definition, you shouldn't be doing anything remotely close that will affect humans. Let's continue with the list. Sulfur, it can irritate, coughing, also be irritating for skin and the eyes. Here you can see hazardous for irritation, shortness of breath, cough, etc. Consistent exposure can cause asthma, allergy, and this one even has a hazardous substance fact sheet, which means very scary if you enter in contact with this. Here it says remove the person from exposure, begin CPR, take to a medical facility. But this is what is raining. Why are the governments doing this? We have seen the same pattern actually that we are seeing when you look at the component list of what is happening right now. I can't say this word, I'll be pulled down. But you know, if you have seen my videos, that this, in my previous YouTube, actually it was removed for obvious reasons. I did an analysis of the components of the different these, and it's the same pattern: skin, eye, respiratory issues. They appear to be obsessed with our breathing function for whatever reason. So no wonder why we see all of these. And when I was looking into a psychological perspective, when a criminal suffocates a victim, is actually a form of exercising power. So very interesting if you want to read a little bit more about this. In 1987, they talked about manipulating the magnetosphere. So here you're going to see the pattern, the specifics, but let's talk about what that means, because if here's the Earth, the weather can only be manipulated at these 0 to 18 kilometers in terms of distance from Earth. And then the ozone layer that we were talking before, that stops here at 50 kilometers, that is the stratosphere. And then the next area or region would be called mesosphere, that is where we see the shooting stars between 50 to 90 kilometers. And then here, where the aurora borealis can be seen, is going to happen between 90 and 600 kilometers, and it's called ionosphere. But over and above 60,000 kilometers is called magnetosphere. It's actually called edge of space. So why are you talking about manipulating at this height? So I looked into the company that registered this, and again, it's an expired patent, but still. And this company, called BAE Systems, is actually dedicated to electronic warfare, surveillance, communication, geospatial intelligence. So now we know what they're doing. Closing comments. If Google allows me to see all these things, and I can see that these patents are harmful to humans, why are they being used? What if all these tools were actually created and used to perpetrate the fantastic idea of having natural disasters? Are they really natural? Obviously, we know the answer. In my opinion, all governments have failed us. Our faith in them has been misplaced. We are amazingly strong. Look at how much they throw at us all the time. And here we are. We are the resistance. Some advice of how to protect your light: avoid bad news as often as possible, particularly before going to bed. Be away from your phone, the computer. All of these emit electromagnetic radio frequency that is extremely harmful for you. Before going to bed, put away and away from your room the phones and computers, because even if they're off, they are still emitting electromagnetic radio frequency. Pray, meditate, send white light to others and to the planet, and say no to this. It is definitely bad for your body, and it is my strong belief that it's also bad for your soul. Stand firm in your sovereignty, raise your vibration, fear nothing. You are an eternal being. Thank you very much.